So you want to start a YouTube channel? Let's talk about it. So in today's video, I'm talking about understanding your audience. Not only about why it's important, but also how to go about doing that. I will give you my favorite tools to use when I'm creating content that helps me think about my audience and understand what their needs are and how to create content for them. So if you're just landing on this video and aren't sure what's going on, you've just landed smack dab in the middle of my series on how to start a YouTube channel. Now, this is episode number 8, but you don't necessarily need to watch them in order to be able to follow along. Once you're done with this video, you can just go on to my channel where I've created a playlist specifically for this series. I've already covered privacy and security settings and how to go faceless on YouTube, as well as all of the equipment that you could possibly need to start your channel. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with today's video. Hi, my name is Chinye and I'm a new business development strategist, and I use my 10 years of corporate finance experience to show you how to start and grow your business even if you have a limited budget. If that sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and let's get started. So the first question I'm going to answer is why it's important to understand your audience. Simply put, understanding your audience is going to help you create the most relevant content for that audience. When you're creating relevant content, they're more likely to stick around and watch your content. Not only are they more likely to watch your content, but they're also more likely to engage with you as well. So engagement, of course, is all about interaction, such as liking your video, leaving comments, or even subscribing to your channel. When you make content that's relevant to this audience, you're more likely to get that engagement and that feedback from them. Now, this engagement has some very important ramifications, 2 of which I'm going to go ahead and talk through now. The first outcome is that when you have a more engaged audience that's sitting through your content, the more likely the YouTube algorithm is going to push your content in front of more people. The second outcome sort of ties into that. So with the increased push by the YouTube algorithm, along with having a more engaged audience, that increases your chances or ability to find even more of your target audience, and thus allowing you to continue to build and grow your customer base for your product, service, or personal brand. All right, so now let's talk about how to understand your audience. So all too often, I hear folks say that it's important to understand your audience, but they really don't give you any tools on how to do this, or the tools they give you simply aren't relevant to you right now. So there are 3 tools that I would suggest, but quite frankly, only one of them is going to be relevant to you right now if you're just starting out. Those tools are using engagement metrics, conducting audience research, and finally creating audience personas. So obviously you can see that the first 2 tools really aren't going to be relevant if you're just starting out. You don't have any meaningful engagement metrics at this point because you haven't created content. Secondly, you don't have an actual audience, so any audience research is going to be pretty limited. I do go into more detail on audience research and audience metrics in the ebook, so if you'd like more detail on that, you can go and grab that in the description down below. For this video, I'm just going to cover audience personas. So audience personas are fictional representations of your ideal audience segment. They can also be referred to as buyer personas or customer profiles. They are essentially archetypes that embody the characteristics, needs, and behaviors of different groups within your target audience. So these personas are created based on research, data, and insights, which provide you with a deeper understanding of your target audience's motivations, preferences, and pain points. Now, your audience personas differ from your audience research in that your audience research is going to be based on the audience you already have. And since you don't have an audience, you're going to have to create this fictional persona in order to help guide your content creation. So once you have an actual audience or followers, you can then actually go through the audience research tools that I mentioned in my ebook and use those to refine your personas based on actual data about your audience. Okay, so how to create audience personas. The first thing you need to know about creating personas is that they're based on 3 broad categories: demographic information, psychographic information, and information about behavioral patterns. So demographic information includes things such as age, gender, location, occupation, and income. This helps you to group individuals based on shared characteristics and allow you to create personas that represent different demographic profiles. Psychographic information includes things like your audience's attitudes, beliefs, values, and lifestyle choices. This may include interests, motivations, aspirations, or even pain points for your audience. Including this information just helps you craft content and messaging that resonates with your audience on a deeper level and allows you to really speak to the heart or core of who they are. Finally is behavioral patterns. So behavioral patterns look to understand how your audience interacts with your brand, how they consume your content, and how they engage with you on social media. Understanding these behavioral patterns is going to help you tailor your social media strategy and content distribution to each of those personas. It's also going to help you hone in on how best to deliver your product offerings or brand. So when you're creating audience personas, the first thing that you want to think about is who your ideal target audience is. Are they stay-at-home moms? Are they men over 40 who are trying to get back into the gym and lose fat and put on more muscle? Are they students who are transitioning into the workforce and need help with the adjustment? When you're answering this question, try to get as specific as you can. Remember, you can have more than one audience persona for your channel. There's not only one type of demographic or psychographic that will watch your content. Not unless you are going super niche with your channel. For most people, you'll have more than one, so feel free to have personas that work for your channel. I wouldn't go over 3 to 5 though. At that point, creating content may get a little too cluttered or confusing. So once you have answered these questions, create distinct audience profiles that represent different segments of your target audience. Go ahead and give each persona a name, a description, and even a relevant background story that will help capture this person's characteristics, motivations, and pain points. All right, so I'm not going to just leave you with that information. I want to also offer you an example of what that would look like. So for example, let's say I'm a gym owner who wants to use YouTube to build my brand and even offer online coaching. My gym is women only, and although it's open to everyone, my passion is really coaching women in their late 30s or above who are getting into the gym. Now, of course, part of that information that I just mentioned will make its way into my audience personas, but let's try to get more specific. So my first persona might look something like this. Newbie Nancy is a 38-year-old female, and she has never really been into working out. She's brand spanking new to the gym scene and isn't entirely sure what to do or where to start. All she knows is that as she's gotten older, her body is starting to hurt more and she's noticing a lot more changes that she's just not comfortable with. She aspires to a certain physique, but the workout that she's been doing at home simply isn't working for her. So she's a stay-at-home wife. She has a bit more flexibility when it comes to her schedule and her time. So it's totally feasible for her to do 45 minutes or an hour-long workout in the comfort of her own home or even at the gym. Now, before I go into how this would help with my content strategy, let's contrast that with another persona that would equally be interested in my content as a gym owner and fitness influencer. This next persona is Busybody Bernice. Now, Bernice is a businesswoman on the go. She's in her early 40s and at the height of her career. She's finding it really hard to squeeze a workout into her schedule, and her eating habits are all over the place because she's always on the move. She needs really quick but effective workouts and eating strategies that would work with her busy lifestyle. Because her business is booming, she has a lot more discretionary income to play around with. However, her time is very precious. She too has an ideal physique that she aspires to. However, she just needs some help with getting there in the time that she has available. Okay, so let's break this down. The content that I create for Newbie Nancy is going to be different from the content that I would create for Busybody Bernice. So when I'm thinking about Newbie Nancy, I'm thinking about longer content that's really going to help target her full body. I'm also going to keep it simple and give her as many pointers as I can about how to do these exercises correctly since she is a newbie. With her in mind, I'm going to focus on things that she can do at home that won't require a ton of equipment, but will help her get to her targeted physique. I'm also going to throw in some beginner tips that seasoned gym goers may already know, but that Nancy probably hasn't heard before. Essentially, I'm going to make sure that I've got content that's going to help her get up to speed and in the know with all of the newbie content or concepts that she would need to or want to understand as a newbie. For Busybody Bernice, on the other hand, my content is going to be very targeted. I'm going to be offering her really quick 30-minute workouts that she can squeeze in throughout her day. I'm also going to focus a lot on meal planning to help her stay on target with her food. I may also even suggest companies that offer pre-prepared food that she would only need to throw in the microwave to heat up. In addition to that, I may even do a segment specifically targeted to how to eat healthy on the go at different restaurants. So you can see that my content strategy is different depending on the persona that I'm creating content for. As you sit down and think about your target audience, go ahead and create an audience persona that will help you stay on track with creating content that your audience is going to want to watch. When I'm creating content, I'm constantly thinking about, will Busybody Bernice want to watch this? Or is this the type of thing that newbie Nancy is going to sit through and find value in? As you're creating content, those are the questions that you need to be asking yourself. Always think about your target audience and how they would receive the information that you're trying to share. All right, so that's all for today's video. If you need additional help with creating personas, you can go ahead and grab the ebook where I list a ton of questions that will help you to create demographic, psychographic, and behavioral profiles for your individual personas. If you have any additional questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments down below, and I will get to them as quickly as I can. If you would like some additional help with strategizing for your channel or your future day 100 business goals, feel free to head on over to my website at businessonabudgetco.com and book a session with me, and we can talk more about it.